do you guys come from? A lot of people here today. For your information, it was Uncle David that wrote letters to me on a pen and paper with pictures of himself at the school, cutouts and things like that. He was a very beautiful and sensitive soul. And when we talked about spirituality and discipline back then, it was a compliment that he was all about religion, because they go hand in hand. You need spirituality, you need religion, discipline. One without the other, it doesn't do well, it goes astray. So we're great partners. It's kind of like Captain Kirk, Star Trek, and Spock. I was the good-looking one, and he was Spock. But anyways, I wanted to kind of touch upon this subject for a while. It's about, man, something that you guys do almost every day, Monday through Friday. It's about the daily influences of money. The daily influences of money. I don't know about you, but I just love to ask people, hey, what do you want to be? Especially kids, what do you want to be when you get older? Especially my kids. One of my kids, he means it when he says, I want to be a billionaire when I grow up. I know there's a guy in here that's giggling, but he says he wants to be a rich soccer player. I wonder who that is. But as far as what we do every day, all the young kids, they're studying to work to make money. Guys in college, they're on the brink, they're almost there. Some of you guys are waiting to work and to make money. Some of you guys are already working and have been working. Some of you guys are retired, getting ready to organize funds. And there's so many different messages out there in the world about how you're supposed to perceive money, that is what I wanted to address today as a Christian and my experiences. There's a church member here that says, you know what? I know when Jesus loves me because he gives me a fat paycheck. You know? Is that your perception of money? I was driving through LA, and 2 hours of traffic on the 10 highway there, and on this huge apartment building, it says, money is the root of all evil, blah, 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 E-Trade. Is that your perception of money? It doesn't do anything. That is what I wanted to talk about. And in doing such, I want to point to this story in the Bible. It's found, if you have your Bibles or apps, it's found in the book of Mark, chapter 12, verse 13 to 17. The book of Mark, chapter 12, 13 to 17. It says this: later, they sent some of the Pharisees and Herodians to Jesus to catch him in his words. They came to him and said, Teacher, we know that you are a man of integrity. You aren't swayed by others because you pay no attention to who they are, but you teach the way of God in accordance with the truth. Are they being earnest? No, they're not being earnest. They said, Teacher, is it right to pay the imperial tax to Caesar or not? Should we pay or shouldn't we? But Jesus knew their hypocrisy. Jesus said, Why are you trying to trap me? He asked. So he looked around. You guys know the story? And Jesus said, Bring me a denarius and let me look at it. So somebody hands him the coin, and Jesus looks up to the crowd, and he asks all of them, can you imagine the scene, guys? Jesus looks out to the crowd holding this coin up, and he says, whose image is this? And whose inscription? Caesar's, the crowd replied. It is Caesar's. Then Jesus said to them, give back to Caesar what is Caesar. And then what's it say? And to God what is God's. And then it says this, and they were amazed at him. Let's pray. Father God in heaven, put me aside so that you may speak, so that you may pierce the ears, brains, hearts, soul of every individual here that you are equipping to do your work. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So, I'm 30 years old now. No, I'm just kidding. I'm older than that. I'm 44. Yeah, 44. So, the issues of taxes and money, it stumbled everybody 2,000 years ago. Taxes and money. Do they stumble us now? It's the same thing. It's always about, should we pay taxes or shouldn't we? Should we spend money on this or shouldn't we? And so this passage that I just shared is about whether Jews should pay taxes to imperial Romans. And this passage is often used actually to argue against whether you as a Christian should pay taxes to your institutions, to your state, to your government. And there are two groups basically here, the Pharisees and Herodians. And the Pharisees, of course, were like anti-Romans, and they didn't want to pay taxes. And the Herodians are Jews as well. They're called Hellenistic Jews. But they wanted to follow the laws of the Romans. And so they wanted people to pay taxes. So if Jesus said, don't pay taxes, then obviously the Herodians would kind of revolt. If Jesus said, pay the taxes, then you know that the Pharisees would actually revolt. But when Jesus said this, he said, give back to Caesar what is Caesar's. Everybody was left in awe. And so, as I go through the stages of my life and career, been kind of conflicted and often stumbling on issues of money in many different ways. And I think a lot of you guys have gone through this as well. And so I want to ask you this: how influential is money in your daily decisions? How much power and authority do you give money in your life? That's a question that I ask myself. How much power and authority do I give money in my life? And is it obvious or is it subtle? So responsible spending is a given. But does money and should money dictate what I'm doing, where I'm going? We might find that our funds changes where we will have a family vacation. Is that not right? When you decide on where you're going to go for a family trip, you kind of check your banking account first. I've asked myself a lot of times, why is it that I'm going to go get a nice dinner, a nice sushi dinner, but I don't do the same nice thing for my staff or friends? I'm going to buy my kid a nice iPad. You know how much those cost these days for their birthday. I regret it every time I buy that iPad, by the way. But if it's my kid's friends and they're going to a birthday party, why is it just like a $25 iTunes card? I kind of question myself on those things. And is safety spending, what we call safety spending, or responsible spending, is that the cover for a lack of faith in Jesus when we're talking about hiring a youth pastor that Pastor Greg brought up. Almost daily, we are actually dictated by money rather than anything else. Even in my conversations with my wife, I'll call her at 10 a.m., talk about some things, ask her a question, and she'll, out of the blue, in the middle of our conversation, I'm asking her a deep question. She's like, honey, where are you? Are you working? And sometimes I am. Sometimes I have a little admin flex time, but when I'm not working, I might be at the Apple store. But if I'm not working, then I'm spending money big time. And Anne's not here, so I can say that. Okay, but you get the drift. But for me, I've often asked myself, are these issues with money over the years more deeper issues of my spiritual life and my relationship with God? Have you guys asked yourself that? Is that so cliche? If you guys ask yourself that, have you guys truly answered that to the core of you, to the core of your heart, to the core of your purse or wallet? That is what I want you guys to ask today. So money is frequently discussed in the Bible because there's actually a direct, guys, you hear this? There is a direct correlation between the way we handle money and our faith. Do you think, guys, that Jesus knew we were going to have issues with money? Do you think so? Consider these statistics that I found. How many parables are there in the Bible? Whoever gets this answer right gets this $10 bill on the street. How many parables are there in the Bible? Take a wild guess.
105.
1,004,300. The elementary school kid was closer than the surgeon. Oh, middle school, that's what I meant. Yeah, sorry. I gotta go back to school. So there's actually, depending on what you read, between 38 and 39. How many of those parables deal with money and possessions?
All of them.
No, not all of them. Almost half. 16, 17. Almost half of Jesus' parables deal with money and possessions. Guys, I anything about parables of the pearl, parables of the talents, parables of the master and the servants, the author deals with coins, lost coins. Think about all those things. Why is that the case? Nearly 25% of Jesus' words in the New Testament deal with biblical stewardship. 1 out of 10 verses in the gospel deal with money. There are more than 2,000 scriptures on tithing in the Bible. 2,000 scriptures on tithing in the Bible. That's twice as many as faith and prayer combined. That's twice as many as heaven and hell combined. All these things that we always debate about. So I'm convinced that God cares about our finances and how we use our money. And guys, I read several commentaries, and I'm not a theologian like some of you here, but I read a lot of commentaries on this story, give to Caesar what is Caesar's. And I've kind of incorporated some of the things that I learned into the talk today. But honestly, guys, I just want to share what the story means to me, how it affects me, why it makes such a big impression on me. So, you guys know the 4 C's of a diamond? Okay, the guys that are married can't say it, but oh wait, the girls, okay, that are not married can say it. Wait, actually, I want to quiz the guys that are about to court women into getting married. 4 C's of a diamond. Anybody shopping for a diamond right now? 4 C's? No? You guys know? Forget it. Sharon, say it. Sharon, say it because she's waiting. No, I'm just kidding. Go, say it. Just kidding. Go.
Clarity, color, and I don't know what the last is. Quality.
Except, let's get there. She said cut, right? It's the cut. This determines how expensive a diamond is. The kind of a cut. Round, no, I'm not doing it, but cut. Clarity, which means the clearness. Nobody wants a murky diamond. The ladies want clear. Okay, they want a clear diamond, right? So cut, clarity, color. Just like you guys don't want to see like a yellow stained teeth. You want a good color. White teeth. But you want a good color of a diamond, right? So they want clear, white rather than yellow. But the last C.
Carrot.
Oh, you see, this man has been shopping in the Diamond District, New York City, or LA, I forget. But it's actually carat, which means the weight of the diamond. So when it comes to a diamond, precious diamond, there's gemology institutes, all these GIA, all these grades and so forth, because that thing, man, a lot of time and experts go into that thing that you purchase. And when you guys go shopping for a diamond ring someday, you'll go through what I go through, lots of stress, okay, many years back. But the 4 C's of a precious diamond, I want to share the 4 C's of why this passage is precious to me, okay? I don't know how else you guys are going to remember it, so 4 C's, okay? Number 1, and just let me know if I'm going over, hopefully we've done 15 minutes. The first C stands for Christ himself. Do you know why I love this verse? Because give back to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's. That was said by Jesus Christ himself, my Maker, my God, the Messiah. And I want to share something that I don't want to tell too many people. Ever since that my dad passed away in college, I think I've been subconsciously looking for that father figure. And it may not even be a person. It may be like something else that fulfills me, an object. And there's a lot of things in my life. I can name it, sports, whatever, and so forth. But when I went through that tough time of losing my dad, when I was a junior in college, I started reading Proverbs a lot. And I'm no wise guy, but the reason why I love things like Proverbs is because it always addresses the reader as my son, my son. And so when I hear things like that in the Bible, it captures my attention. It captures my heart. And so times when I'm down, you know in the Bible how Jesus' direct words are in red? My mind just goes bing. It's like, oh, this is my Father talking. This is my Maker. The first C is what? Christ himself. The second C is the outcome C. Outcome quotes C. So let me tell you what I mean by this. You know how when we scheme in our lives about our daily issues and conflicts, our kids in school, it's like we talk and it's always about, oh, you know what? If you choose this, this is going to happen. Outcome A. If you choose this, it's outcome B. But you know what we often forget about? Is outcome C. Christ's outcome and event. So here's what I mean. You know, like in the verse, you know, they gave Jesus some choices. Would you pay or not pay? But it's like, boom. Jesus kind of threw in that phrase, and it's like, wow, it just blew everybody away. This outcome seat. So not too long ago, I was sitting right here, and I was calculating how much tithe I had to pay. I opened up my little bank account in my app while Pastor Greg was preaching a little while back. And he probably thought I was looking at my Bible app, but I was actually looking at my bank account because I'm a little late on tithe, and I'm always worried about Scott hounding me, the treasurer. And no, just kidding, he never does that. He never does that. But there was a time when I had to wait about 3 to 4 months. I waited about 3 to 4 months to pay my tithe. I've been trying to pay tithe more in the last few years. And I've been late. And so I'm sitting here during the sermon just calculating things. And I finally wrote down a piece of paper. I'm covering my paper because I don't want my kids to see. I'm not saying it's a big amount or anything like that, but everything's out in my bank. And my kids sometimes can't keep a secret. But those 3 to 4 months, I've been kind of spending wrong, by the way. I've been pouring things into investments, deferred retirement accounts, other retirement accounts that, that Derek's, kind of investing in now. He's making, good pay, by the way. But the amount that I calculated that I owe for tithe, those from the 3-4 months back, was so close to the exact amount that I actually had left in my business bank account, which is, I think, a good amount because it's used for operations, paying staff, paying bills, paying all kinds of stuff for several business entities. I'll just put it at that. And of course, I'm safe. I always like to leave a surplus in my bank account. But if I wrote the check of how much I owe for tithe, it would pretty much leave like $10 in my bank account. But I sat, I prayed, thought about it, and I contemplated the possibilities in my mind during that sermon. So I was thinking, a couple of things, one of two things is going to happen. Either probability A, if I pay this amount, write this check, it's going to clear in a couple of days, it's going to empty out my bank account. Probability A, I thought my distribution from the businesses, the funds, should come back in the following week to provide a nice buffer. Kind of just replenish my bank account. Because I don't get a regular paycheck. It could be monthly, it could be quarterly, there's not always a way to predict. So I thought that's probability A. Probability B, I thought, all right, maybe this is God testing me. Maybe he's testing my faith. If I write this check, the other option is this. God would open up the storehouses, in that verse when you pay tithe, God's going to open up your barn and all kinds of stuff, storehouses, whatever. But that's what I was thinking. God's going to open up the storehouses from my prior tithing. He's going to bless me in ways unimaginable to fill my bank account with a huge surprise. That's what I was thinking. It was a test of my faith. But guess what happened? A couple of days later, my check cleared because Scott went to the bank. I always want him to just wait a few days, right? I always say, hey, just wait, man. Just wait a little bit. Don't I always say that to him? And then a few days passed again, and now I'm checking my bank app every hour while I'm awake and asleep. Checking my bank app to see if some funds are coming in, some reimbursements, some checks, business distribution. 4 days go by. Fifth day, somewhere around there, I get on my knees by my bedside, start praying, saying, God, man, I just know this is a test of my faith. I know you're going to take care of me. So finally, after 7 days, Guess what happened to my business checking account that a lot of my accountants follow, my managers follow? What do you think happened? Huh? Got replenished? No, it bounced. It bounced. Okay? So now I was in real panic mode because any day, like more bills, I'm refraining from talking about exact numbers, so that's why I'm trying to curb myself. But any day more, it'll actually auto pay all these other bills. And then, I'm getting these, alerts about, hey, low funds, or whatever, and so I really started to panic. But as I was meditating and praying through that experience for the next few days and few weeks, you know what I realized that I can share right now? Something else happened. It wasn't option A in my mind or outcome B. It was actually outcome C. The best thing happened. So what was outcome C? It was Christ's intervention, because from that day on forward, it actually changed me again. I've been learning crazy things about tithing in the last 7 years, but it changed me again because it taught me to actually pay a piece of my a piece of my funds via tithe to God first rather than last. And it set up a framework for acknowledging God by the first fruits, what tithing really means. That my practice sold for a small amount, all these things, but when I'm employed now, but when I get a paycheck now, I don't pay the bills first. I pay tithe first. And I do want to share something about this because 40% of all of my gross income, guys, okay? I don't discuss finances with family. Ann knows everything that I know. But I don't even discuss finances with families. I don't care that much. Or my parents. I want to share with you something right now in this room. About 40% of everything that I make, it's not a whole lot, but everything that I make goes into taxes. I don't fight it at all. Ask my CPA. I don't fight anything. Whatever he says goes. I just sign. 10% of my gross income goes into tithing of my gross. And I kind of listen to how other people do it. And they say, nah, you should do 10% of your net income and all these things. But you know what? That's between you and God. I'm not trying to criticize anybody in here, but I'll tell you why I do 10% of gross income. That's because if I do 10% of, let's say, $100, that's what, $10. But if after taxes, I do, what do you got, $60 left. And if I do 10% of that, that's $6, right? I came to that conclusion. So I don't know how you guys do it. I've never even had this conversation with a lot of you. But I really wanted to know what tithing meant. And I actually asked a bunch of pastors, like ancient pastors. And they said the same thing. They've all been paying tithe from gross income rather than net income. Tithing is a separate sermon, heart discussion. Because I know that a lot of us think, tithing conference. Actually, it doesn't say tithe to a conference. I love a conference. Keep tithing if that's what you're convicted of. But it actually says tithe to the people. Tithe to the church. And so that's something you guys got to figure out between you and God, what that truly means. But my second C was what? Outcome C. Okay? Proverbs 3, chapter 3, verse 9 to 10. Give honor to the Lord with your wealth and with the first fruits of all your increase. So your storehouses will be full of grain and your vessels overflowing with new wine. First fruits. So the third C. First C was Christ. Second C was option C. Third C, why I love this story, why it's so precious to me, is because it provides a compass. What is a compass? It helps you to navigate. It's a tool. And so this story for me convicts me in a lot of ways, but it helps me to navigate with issues of money. And man, guys, I don't want to intimidate some of you who are breaking into the working world. There's a lot of you guys already here in the working world. But navigating the issues of finances, car insurance, health insurance, flood insurance, malpractice insurance, disability insurance, life insurance. You just start driving, you got to get more umbrella insurance. Discussing your retirements, 401k, IRA, investing, tithing, tuitions. So again, that statement, give to Caesar what is Caesar's, helps me to put money in its place and actually call it what it is. Money is just a piece of paper. It's just an object. So, compass. Let me share with you guys a story. Another very personal story that I haven't shared with a lot of people. Uncle David knew me when I was going through this experience, when I was at Andrews. And when I was a junior there, I flew home for something. After Thanksgiving, first week of December, this happened on December 6th. And here's what happened. I was sitting around on the floor and carpet. And it was my mom and myself sitting on the carpet. And basically, we're looking at this big pile of money. Cash. Checks. We were exhausted. I actually came back from a big event, an event that changed my life, shaped me. We just came back from my dad's funeral. We had just buried my dad. This is Collinsville, Tennessee. Sold our house and all that. He got sick, he got cancer. And by the way, Jennifer and Abe Lim, this event, they took us in because we didn't have a house at that time. This happened actually in their house. Abe and Jennifer lived on their carpet downstairs as my mom and I were having a private discussion. And so we came back and just looking at the money and cash, a pile of it that people gave us after the funeral, and very kind, very generous. But for me, as I stared at that pile of wealth, there was not a single morsel of joy or comfort or peace that money provided that moment. No, I'm not going to cry, don't worry. I got a tissue here. Because money could not replace my father, who is now gone, who I miss so much. But in that moment, for the first time in my life, I called money what it is. Meaningless pieces of paper. I actually cursed it. But that event shaped how I viewed money, my perception. And I forever disconnected myself from the comforting effects of money. So over the years, some people have mislabeled and misinterpreted me. If I buy them a dinner, give them a little gift here and there, and some have called me generous. Sometimes a family member might say, hey, are you irresponsibly spending? But I am neither generous nor an irresponsible spender. I am actually a product of how Jesus shaped my perception of money that day on my dad's funeral. Why should a piece of paper be given more respect and love than a person when you guys give to others, right? In your family, even in your workplace, that is your church. You are a shepherd to your flock, whatever that flock is. Your flock may not be your kid. It's not just your family, your kids. Your flock may be your work family. Your flock may be your volleyball family, basketball family, small women's group family, men's group, your classmates, your schoolmates, your college mates. So the third C is provided a compass. This is my last C, and we're done. Did it take a long time? Probably. Okay, this is my last C. The fourth C stands for Jesus claims us through this story. So listen to this, guys. Okay? Give unto Caesar what is Caesar's. But what is the second part of that sentence? Give back to God what is God's. If the coin belongs to Caesar, because Caesar's face is on that coin, guys, what belongs to God? What belongs to God? It's you. What's on your face and your heart? It's the image of God. You guys get that? Caesar's face is on this coin. What Jesus lifts up, you, the image of God, is on you. Genesis 1:26-28, that God said, let us make humans in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on earth. So God created humans in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. Then God blessed them. Martin Luther, 1500s, German theologian, Protestant reformer. He wrote this many years ago, over 500 years ago. Listen to this, guys. There are 3 conversions necessary. 3. The conversion of the heart, the conversion of the mind, and the conversion of the purse. I guess they had purses. Those expensive ones 500 years ago. So if we store up money because we are worried about our security, that's going to just make us more anxious. And so this verse, and the praise team can come up if there's a closing song. But this verse, guys, I shared what this verse means to me. But for the next week, until the next sermon, I want you guys to dwell upon this verse and ask yourself, what does it mean for you? Give unto Caesar what is Caesar's, to God what is God's in your life. What does this mean to you? How does God convict you today from this message? However he convicts you, Do not forget this feeling that you have right now. Go do it. Thank you.
Amen.